There is a force inside you, a force so powerful it can make you betray yourself over and over again. It makes you say yes when your body is screaming no. It silences your own needs to make room for everyone else's. It is the invisible puppeteer behind your people-pleasing. And the most frustrating part? You can't seem to logic your way out of it. You know you should set boundaries, you know you should prioritize yourself, but when the moment comes, that force takes over. That is because this is not a problem of logic. It is a problem of the shadow. And to understand the shadow, you cannot use the light of your conscious mind alone. You need a different tool. You need a shovel. And for this work, your journal is your shovel. As the great explorer of the psyche, Carl Jung, taught us, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Today, we are going to learn how to make the darkness conscious. This is not about finding the right answers. This is about asking the right questions. We will walk through 5 specific shadow work prompts, 5 layers of excavation to uncover the hidden truth of why you please. If you are tired of being a stranger to yourself, if you are ready to begin this work of soul archaeology, I invite you to make a commitment. Write in the comments now, I am ready to dig. Before we pick up our shovel, let's create a safe space for this excavation. This is essential. Shadow work is not an intellectual exercise. It is an emotional and somatic one. As you begin to ask these questions, feelings will arise. Guilt, shame, anger, sadness. These are not signs that you are doing it wrong. They are signs that you have struck gold. They are the buried treasures. They are the parts of you that have been waiting in the dark to finally be seen. So find a quiet time and a private space. With your journal, light a candle if that feels right. Make a cup of tea. Take a few of those somatic sighs we've talked about to let your nervous system know it is safe. The most important rule of this work is this: you do not have to have the answer. Your only job is to stay curious. When you write down the question, don't try to answer it with your logical mind. Instead, let the question sink into you. And then, just start writing. Let your pen move. Write whatever comes, stream of consciousness. Even if it's just, I don't know what to write. The truth is not in a perfectly crafted sentence. The truth is in the energy that flows onto the page. Now let's begin with the first layer. The first question is designed to get past your conscious defenses and straight to the heart of the fear. Prompt number 1. What am I secretly afraid will happen if I say no or if I prioritize myself? And be specific. Let that question land. What am I secretly afraid will happen? Your conscious mind might say, oh, they'll be disappointed. But we have to go deeper than that. Your shadow self, the part of you that runs the people-pleasing program, is not afraid of disappointment. It's afraid of something much more primal. It's afraid of annihilation. It's afraid of abandonment. It's afraid of being deemed worthless, unlovable, and cast out. Let's imagine Sarah, a 45-year-old mother and high school teacher. Her sister asks her to babysit on a Friday night, a night Sarah had desperately been looking forward to spending alone, just to read a book and decompress. The automatic yes is on the tip of her tongue. But later that evening, she sits with this prompt. What am I secretly afraid will happen if I say no to my sister?
or if I prioritize myself. First, she writes, she'll be mad at me. Okay, let's dig deeper. And if she's mad at me, what am I afraid will happen? She'll think I'm a selfish sister. Okay, and if she thinks you're a selfish sister, what happens then? The pen starts to move faster now. The real answers begin to surface. Then she won't ask me for help again. She won't think I'm reliable. She'll pull away from me. She'll talk to our other sister more than me. I'll be on the outside. I'll be alone. I'll be the bad sister. I'll be unlovable. Do you see? It was never about the babysitting. It was about a deep, primal fear of abandonment, a fear that her worth is directly tied to her utility. This is the kind of truth this first prompt is designed to unearth. It shows you the powerful, often irrational, childhood story that is still running your adult life. Your only job is to witness it on the page. No judgment. Just, there it is. That's the story. This leads us to the second layer of our excavation. Once we know the fear, we need to understand the belief system that supports it. The second prompt is this. Prompt number 2. What underlying beliefs do I hold about my own worth and my right to have needs? This question asks you to look at the invisible constitution you live by, the unspoken rules you have for yourself. For many people pleasers, these rules sound something like this. My needs are a burden to others. It is my job to keep everyone happy. My worth comes from what I do for people, not from who I am. If I am not useful, I am worthless. Good people don't have needs. When Sarah sat with this second prompt, she was shocked by what came out. She wrote, I believe deep down that I don't have the right to be tired. I believe that my sister's need for a night out is more valid than my need for a night in. I believe that being a good sister and a good mother means having no limits. I believe that my needs are an inconvenience. These are not logical beliefs. These are emotional truths learned in the deep past. They are the operating system of the fawn response. By writing them down, by bringing them out of the shadows and into the light of consciousness, you begin to rob them of their power. You move them from being an unassailable truth that runs you to being a curious and outdated artifact on a page. You can look at the belief, my needs are an inconvenience. And you can ask yourself, as an adult, is this really true? Is this a rule I want to continue living by? Whose voice is this really? This is the beginning of true freedom. It's not about fighting the belief. It's about seeing the belief for what it is. An echo, a ghost, a piece of old code. And you, the adult, you are the programmer now. You get to decide if you want to keep running that program. The first 2 questions have shown you the fear and the code behind the fear. Now, we are ready to go deeper, to find out what this program is costing you.
Now we go deeper. The first 2 prompts have shown you the fear and the beliefs that built this prison. Now we must ask a paradoxical question. We must ask what makes this prison so strangely comfortable. Because every pattern, no matter how self-destructive, has a hidden payoff. It serves a purpose. Otherwise, you would have stopped long ago. This brings us to our third layer of excavation. Prompt number 3. What hidden reward or feeling of control or safety do I get from being the people pleaser? This question can feel confronting because we like to think of ourselves as purely altruistic, but the shadow demands radical honesty. The fawn response is a strategy, and every strategy has a goal. The goal is often a hit of a very specific feeling. For some, the reward is a feeling of safety. If I am agreeable, no one can be mad at me. I am avoiding conflict. For others, it's a feeling of control. If I can anticipate and manage everyone's needs, I can control the emotional temperature of the room. Nothing bad will happen on my watch. And for many, the reward is a subtle sense of moral superiority. I am the good one, the responsible one, the one who sacrifices. I am needed. This feeling of being indispensable can be a powerful, addictive drug. It validates the persona, the mask of the good person, and keeps the messy, needy, authentic self locked away. Let's go back to Sarah, our teacher and mother. She sits with this third prompt. What is the reward she gets for always saying yes? At first, her mind is blank. There is no reward, she thinks. It's just exhausting. But she stays with the question. She lets her pen move, and the truth begins to emerge. She writes, "The reward is that I get to be the capable one, the one everyone relies on. The reward is that I don't have to feel the discomfort of my sister's disappointment. I'd rather feel resentment than her disapproval. The reward is that I feel like a good person. And if I am a good person, maybe the bad feelings, the anger, the selfishness aren't really there." There it is. The payoff is avoidance. The payoff is the illusion of control. The payoff is the validation of the good girl mask she has worn her entire life. Seeing this reward clearly does not make you a bad person. It makes you human. It allows you to look at the pattern with compassion and say, I see what you were trying to do for me. You were just trying to make me feel safe and worthy. Thank you. But the price is too high. And what is that price? That question leads us directly to the fourth and perhaps most volatile layer of our dig, the layer of rage. Prompt number 4. What anger am I swallowing down? What do I secretly resent every time I betray myself with a yes? For the people pleaser, anger is the most terrifying, most forbidden emotion. We have been taught that anger is dangerous, that it is ugly, that nice people don't get angry. So we suppress it, we bury it, we pretend it doesn't exist. But as Carl Jung knew, energy is never destroyed. It is only transformed. Suppressed anger does not disappear. It metastasizes. It turns into depression, anxiety, chronic fatigue, physical pain, and that low-grade, simmering resentment that poisons everything. This prompt is an invitation to give that anger a voice, safely, on the page. When Sarah asks herself this question, what comes out is a torrent. She writes, I resent that my time is seen as infinitely available and less valuable than everyone else's. I am angry that I am the one who is always expected to be flexible. I am angry that no one ever asks me what I need. And then the deepest truth. I am angry at myself. I am furious with myself for not speaking up, for being a coward, for letting this happen again and again. This anger is not your enemy. This anger is your greatest ally. It is the purest sign of life within you. It is the voice of the part of you that has been violated. It is the cry of your authentic self screaming, "This is not okay. A boundary has been crossed." Your anger holds the energy you need to finally make a change. It is the fuel for your transformation. Society has taught women, especially, to fear their own anger, to see it as destructive. But your anger is not a bomb. It is a compass. It is pointing directly at what needs to be protected. It is pointing you back home to yourself. So, as you write, let it come. Let the frustration, the irritation, the full-blown rage pour onto the page. Give it words. Give it shape. Do not judge it. Do not fear it. Simply witness its power. Because you are not just writing down feelings. You are reclaiming a lost part of your own life force. You are meeting the monster in your shadow only to realize it was a caged, wounded, and fiercely protective guardian all along. And it holds the key to your freedom.
If you have allowed yourself to feel even a flicker of that anger we just uncovered, do not turn away from it. Do not rush to label it as negative or bad. That anger is sacred. It is pure, undiluted life force. It is the part of your soul that knows your own value, even when your conscious mind has forgotten. It is the primal scream that says, I am here. I matter. My energy is not a free resource for the world to consume. This anger is the guardian at the gate of your authentic self. For too long you have seen it as a monster to be slain. But the work of the shadow is not to slay the monster. It is to ask it what it is protecting. And that leads us to our fifth and final layer of excavation. This is the most important question of all, because it is not about the past. It is about the future you are now free to create. We have cleared the ground. We have seen the fears, the beliefs, the hidden rewards, and the righteous anger. Now we must ask, what do we wish to plant in this newly fertile soil? Prompt number 5. If I fully trusted my own worth, who is the self I would finally allow to emerge? Let this question bypass your inner critic. This is not about what is realistic or possible. This is a question for your soul. If you were no longer running the people-pleasing program, if the vast amounts of energy you spend managing others' feelings were suddenly returned to you, what would you do with that energy? Who would you be? When our friend Sarah sits with this final prompt, something new happens. Her pen does not write with the frantic energy of fear, or the shaky hand of uncovering old beliefs, or the fiery scratch of anger. It moves with a slow, calm, and joyful flow. She writes, "The woman who emerges, she reads books, not just for work, but for the pure delight of it. She takes that pottery class she has been dreaming about for 10 years, and she doesn't care if she's any good at it. She just wants to feel the clay in her hands. She laughs louder. She dances in the kitchen while making dinner. She has deeper, more honest conversations with her children because she is not just a tired caretaker, but a present, engaged human being. She still hosts family dinners sometimes, but she does it because she truly wants to, not because she has to. And she asks for help. She is not selfish, she is simply full. She gives from her overflow, not from her essence. This self that Sarah describes, this is not a fantasy. This is her golden shadow. This is the union concept for all the brilliant, beautiful, powerful parts of you that you have repressed and hidden away because you were taught they were too much, too selfish, or too loud. Your creativity, your ambition, your playfulness, your quiet strength. All the gold you buried because you were afraid its shine would make other people uncomfortable. This is the ultimate purpose of shadow work. It is not just about integrating your darkness. It is about reclaiming your light. It is about realizing that the monster you feared was simply the cage you built around your own magnificence. The 5 prompts we have walked through are a map. They lead you from the fear that keeps you small, to the beliefs that build the prison, to the hidden rewards that keep you locked inside, to the anger that holds the key, and finally to the radiant, authentic self that is waiting to be freed. This is the journey of what Carl Jung called individuation. The process of becoming whole, of uniting all the disparate parts of you, the light and the dark, the persona and the shadow, the good girl and the powerful woman, into one integrated, authentic being. The woman who can say a clear, kind no without guilt and a deep, resonant, joyful yes to her own life. So I invite you to pause here one last time. After sitting with these questions, after beginning this dig, can you feel her? That authentic self? Can you get a glimpse of the woman you would allow to emerge? What is one quality she has that you are most excited to reclaim? Hold that feeling. That is your North Star. That is the person you already are, underneath it all. And she is ready for you to come find her.
Today, we did not just talk about people-pleasing. We picked up our shovels and began the sacred work of soul archaeology. We learned that the answers we seek are not found on the surface of our lives, but in the rich, dark soil of our own shadow. These 5 prompts are not a one-time fix. They are a lifelong practice, a compass, a way to have a continuing, honest conversation with the deepest parts of yourself. We journeyed through 5 layers together. We named the fear of abandonment that keeps you trapped. We illuminated the outdated beliefs that function as your prison bars. We acknowledged the hidden rewards that make the prison feel safe. We honored the sacred anger that holds the energy for your escape. And most importantly, we caught a glimpse of the magnificent, authentic self that is waiting on the other side of the wall, your golden shadow. This work, this process of Jungian shadow integration, is the ultimate act of self-respect. It is the declaration that you are more than your utility to others. You are a whole, complex, and worthy being, deserving of your own attention, your own care, and your own life. You deserve to give from a place of fullness, not from a place of obligation. And the only way to become full is to first get to know yourself, all of yourself. So your invitation is simple. Begin. You don't need to have the perfect journal or the perfect pen or hours of uninterrupted time. Just take one of these prompts, the one that resonated most deeply, and spend 10 minutes with it. Let your pen move. Do not censor, do not judge, just witness what comes up. This is how the healing starts, not with a grand gesture, but with a small, consistent act of showing up for yourself. But as you engage in this work, a critical question begins to form. We have talked about the fawn response, this deeply ingrained strategy of appeasing others to feel safe. We have used these prompts to see how that pattern lives inside of us. But how does that strategy actually function in our bodies? What is happening in our nervous system, in our very biology, that makes it feel so automatic, so powerful? Why do we feel that visceral, gut-wrenching guilt when we even think about being our true selves? Understanding the what through these prompts is the first step. Understanding the how on a biological level is the next. It is the key to moving from consciously understanding the pattern to somatically releasing it. And that is the deep, practical work we will dive into in our very next conversation as we explore the fawn response and why you feel guilty for being yourself. For today, your work is clear. I invite you to honor the part of this conversation that spoke to you most. In the comments below, share with us, which of the 5 prompts are you most curious to explore first? By sharing, you not only make a commitment to yourself, but you also light the way for others on this path. Thank you for your courage. The excavation has begun.